lost treasure of Luanjing, the city burned. Towers crumbled, streets vanished beneath rivers of fire, and history turned to cinder. The sky choked on blackened smoke, and the river ran thick with ash. Above, the dragon stirred, vast, merciless. Emerald eyes glowed through the chaos, twin stars of wrath. Its roar split the heavens. In the palace, the emperor knelt before an open chest. There was no gold or jewels, only a relic pulsing with unnatural light. It whispered, a curse, a choice, a fate already sealed. Behind him, General Kaelos approached, his blade slick with blood. You were warned, he murmured. Steel flashed. The emperor fell, the relic pulsed, and the city fell silent. The lost treasure of Luanjing. Ren stands amidst the ruin, his cloak snapping like a war banner, defiant against the dying wind. Below, the tower groans, stone buckling inward, its collapse devoured by the city's final breath. Time slows. A crimson banner, torn and tattered, drifts downward, its phoenix wings unraveling into dust, embers curling into the void. Nearby, an overturned hourglass lies shattered, spilled sand pooling like lost years. Time's carcass. He unsheathes his blade. The steel whispers. A scorpion vanishes into the cracks, sensing what he does not. The ruins inhale, exhale, as if the city itself still breathes. Darkness falls, and the wind carries the echoes of a requiem. Fingers tighten around the hilt, knuckles paling beneath the weight of fate. The dragon-etched steel hums, its ancient engravings flickering with the ghosts of lightning. Rain slithers down the blade's edge, pooling at the tip before falling, silent, steady, like the breaths before war. Beyond the veil of mist and shadow, footsteps stir, the storm waits. So does the steel. Back to back. Breath to breath, rain slithers down Ren's blade, tracing silver veins along its edge. Mei Yoru's daggers glint, their curved edges restless in the dim torchlight. Around them, the mercenaries lurk, shadows with teeth, wolves circling the kill. The air tightens. A single misstep, a breath too loud, and the trap will spring. Mei smirks. Think you can keep up? Ren exhales, shifting his stance. His grip is steady. His answer is steel. The shadows lunge, the storm breaks. Silence drapes the market like a funeral shroud. Ren strolls, boots stirring the dust of a city that no longer breathes. Stalls stand empty, their wares devoured by time. A toppled cart, its wheels half buried in the earth, creaks softly, moved not by hands, but by the whispering wind. Above, faded banners tremble, remnants of an empire's broken spine. Their sigils, dragons, phoenixes, gilded suns, peel away in tatters, surrendering to the years. Then, a sound, not wind. Not ruin. A whisper, thin as thread, curling through the alleyways. A name, his name. Ren stops, the ruins are listening. Steel and breath mingle in the space between them. Ren's hand presses firm against Mei's wrist, pinning her dagger before it can find his throat. Her back meets the cold stone, but her gaze never wavers, sharp, unreadable, a storm flickering behind her eyes. The silence is tight, coiled like a bowstring. His breath is steady. Here is not. Her free hand grips his cloak, fingers curled, torn between pulling him closer or pushing him away. For a moment, the battle shifts from blades to something far more dangerous. Ren tilts his head, voice low. Are you hesitating? Mei exhales, a smirk ghosting her lips. The dagger shifts in her grip. A heartbeat. A choice. A war in waiting. The earth shudders, stones rattling like war drums, cracks slither across the ancient tomb, deep and jagged, splitting open the past. From within, a growl rises, low, guttural, an older sound than empires, heavier than time itself. Then, the first glimpse, scales like molten gold, glistening in the firelight, shifting as if liquid, as if alive. Clawed fingers, each talon the length of a sword, carved through crumbling stone. Dust erupts. The air thickens, charged with something primal, electric, and then, the eyes, twin emerald infernos snap open, piercing the dark. The beast inhales, its first breath bending the world around it in centuries. The dragon has awakened. A single eye, vast, unblinking, burns within the steel. Ren stands firm, katana raised, its polished edge trembling beneath the weight of what it reflects. In the dragon's gaze, emerald fire churns, ancient fury, a storm caged behind glass, the blade hums, sensing something far older than itself. The air thickens, heavy with the scent of scorched stone and the distant echo of forgotten wars, then, a flicker, a shift, the pupil narrows. Stone crumbles. The world tilts, my leaps, muscles coiled, breath sharp, a heartbeat ahead of destruction. Behind her, the dragon's tail rips through the temple's spine, pillars snapping like brittle twigs, carvings of forgotten gods vanishing in dust and ruin. For a moment, she is weightless, suspended between survival and the abyss. Below, rooftops stretch like jagged teeth, hungry for a single misstep. The wind roars past her ears. The temple dies behind her. The battle waits ahead. She lands in a roll, blades flashing as she rises. No time to breathe. No time to fear. Above, the dragon's shadow unfurls, swallowing the city whole. Fire billows, a churning maelstrom of gold and crimson. Heat warps the air, turning stone to slag, shadows to cinders. Ren does not move. Does not flinch. His cloak whips in the wave of fury, but his katana remains steady. Above, the dragon's roar splits the sky, a sound of judgment, of gods roused from forgotten slumber. The inferno surges, unstoppable, all-consuming, but steel gleams in defiance. Ren lifts his blade. The moment stretches, a thread pulled taut between annihilation and defiance. Then, he strikes. High above the ruins of Luanjing, the dragon soars, wings vast as storm clouds, each deliberate beat sending ripples through the heavens. Below, the city lies shattered, its once proud towers reduced to jagged teeth biting through the earth. Its shadow sweeps over the graveyard of empires, a silent omen etched in darkness. Fires still smolder, embers twisting like lost souls adrift in the wake of something far more significant than them. For a moment, all is still. The ruins, the dead, the survivors clinging to the last remnants of history, all held beneath the weight of the dragon's reign. A kingdom long lost. A god returned. A king without a throne. A warlord without mercy. General Kaelos stands atop the ruined tower, his black armor slick with rain, etched with the scars of 100 battles. Streaks of crimson war paint carve across his face, the mark of a conqueror, a butcher, a man who bends fate to his will. Above, the heavens churn. Lightning rips the sky apart, its jagged fingers branding his silhouette into the storm. The world holds still for a breath, light against shadow, man against myth. Below, the broken city sprawls, a corpse of stone and history. He surveys it with unreadable eyes, a predator waiting to strike. The storm rages. Kaelos does not flinch, because this is not chaos, this is his kingdom. Kaelos' gauntleted hand settles on Mei's shoulder, heavy, deliberate, unshakable. She does not flinch, but for a single breath, the fire in her eyes flickers. His voice is low, edged with something far more dangerous than steel, a whisper laced with poison, truth, and something she cannot ignore. Mei's fingers twitch against the hilt of her dagger. Her breath stills, anger twists into hesitation. Doubt creeps in, slow as a gathering shadow. Kaelos leans closer, his lips barely moving. Another whisper. Another truth. Mei swallows hard, because the worst part, she isn't sure if he's lying. The Obsidian Fangs march through the broken gates of Luanjing, boots hammering against shattered stone, a relentless tide of shadows and steel. Torches flicker in their grasp, casting jagged, restless flames against the ruins, an omen of what is to come. Their dull and scarred armor glints beneath the firelight. Each dent tells a story of conquest, each blade sharpened for the next. Their eyes hold no mercy, only hunger. The city does not welcome them. It remembers invaders. It remembers war, yet still, they come, and this time, Luanjing has no defenders. Ren kneels, breath ragged, body refusing to rise. His katana lies just out of reach, slick with rain and blood. His blood, above him, Kaelos stands victorious, his black armor gleaming beneath the stormlit sky. A smirk curls his scarred lips, and his sword is raised high, its edge hungry for the kill. You fought well, he muses, his voice a blade of its own, cutting, final. But history only remembers the victor. Ren's fists clench. His vision blurs, but he does not look away. Lightning flashes, the sword falls, and Ren moves. Moonlight spills through the shattered ceiling, painting silver veins across broken columns and crumbling steps. Ash drifts in the air, remnants of banners, history, and everything lost. Ren stands poised, katana gleaming in the dim light, breath slow, steady, measured. Mei grips her daggers, her stance coiled too tight, torn between fate and fury. Across from them, Kaelos waits, black armor swallowing the light, his war-scarred blade resting easy in his grasp. No words. Only the wind, howling through the ruins like the ghosts of the fallen. A step forward. A weight shift, someone will strike first, someone will fall, the palace holds its breath, then, a steel sings. The air hums with an ancient hunger, deep beneath the ruins, the chamber pulses with an eerie blue glow, runes slithering like veins across cold stone walls. Their light flickers, shifting, alive, aware, waiting. At the center, suspended above a vortex of swirling shadow and crackling energy, the lost treasure of Luanjing hovers, untouched, untamed. No gold glints here. No jewels sparkle. This is no mere fortune, this is power. Beneath it, the vortex writhes, whispering in tongues long forgotten, its darkness licking at the edges of reality. A warning. A promise. A curse, and yet, the treasure calls. When Ren's hand brushes the ancient artifact, a pulse erupts through his veins, freezing, burning, unmaking. His breath catches. His vision fractures. Suddenly, he is not in the ruins. He is there, Luanjing lives, golden spires piercing a sky untouched by time. Silk banners dance in the breeze. Laughter drifts through bustling streets, then, a shadow falls, the ground shudders. Screams rise, flames roar from the heavens as a monstrous shape descends, a dragon, vast and merciless, its molten eyes seething with fury. Swords clash. Blood spills. The city crumbles beneath an endless tide of fire and ruin. Ren gasps, stumbling back into the present. The artifact pulses beneath his palm, as if amused, the past is not dead. It remembers. The glass is broken, but the reflection is whole. Mei stands before the ancient mirror, its surface veined with cracks, fractures splintering her image into jagged shards. Dust clings to the frame, the air thick with the scent of age and something forgotten, but the face staring back is not hers, not as she knows it. The other Mei stands taller, her eyes colder. A smirk, one that does not belong to her, curls at the edges of her lips. Her armor is different, darker, and adorned with sigils Mei does not recognize, yet somehow understands. A shadow flickers behind the glass. A whisper slithers through the silence. Which one of them is real? The reflection tilts its head, and then, it moves first. Kaelos grips it tight, and the crimson glow flares, hungry, violent, alive. The runes carved into its surface writhe, shifting like whispers woven from blood. A shudder tears through his body. Dark veins slither up his arm, black as ink, spreading like a sickness beneath his skin. His breath catches, then deepens, not in pain. In something far closer to pleasure, the air thickens. The chamber trembles beneath an unseen force. Stone cracks. Shadows stretch. The magic does not settle within him. It consumes. Kaelos lifts his head, his smirk twisting into something monstrous. He does not resist. He welcomes it. The treasure of Luanjing was never gold. The lid groans as it rises, a sound too human, too pained, as if the chest itself dreads what lies within. Dust coils in the flickering torchlight, drawn toward the thing that should not be. No coins. No jewels, only darkness given form. A blackened relic, its surface cracked like scorched earth, pulses with a slow, unnatural rhythm, not light, not life, but something in between. The ancient runes carved into its body twist and shift, resisting the gaze of the living. Then, a whisper, low. Guttural. Not sound, but presence, curling through the cold air like a phantom's breath. The chamber trembles, the weight of ages pressing down. Ren exhales. The frost of his breath hangs in the air, the realization is clear. This was never meant to be found, and now, it is awake.